with lots of complex aspects and give our students an opportunity to visually digest this image. So I want you to do this for me from the perspective of a student, and I want you to imagine what kinds of things would they say. So take a few moments. Who do you see? Where might this be? When might this be? What's happening and why? What's the significance? So I'm going to ask you to take just a few moments and begin thinking and reflecting at your table groups on the who, the what, the where, the when, the why. Answer the question that has been put on your table. So while you were working, I've now given you an index card that has either who, what, when, where, or why. Make sure that you can have visual evidence from the image to support your group's statements. So does everyone see the question that your group's been assigned? Each table group now has their own question. So let me give you a few more minutes. Now focus on that one question. Who, what, when, where, or why. Go, please. All right. Each table group is going to need a spokesperson to reshare out and report your group's ideas. I'm going to help you decide who that spokesperson is. All right. Ideas well. Take that index card and turn it over. Make sure that they have the evidence recorded on the back of that index card, please. Please make sure that your spokesperson has something written down that they know what they're going to say. You've got 1 minute to prepare your spokespersons. Go. To share with the rest of the class the evidence that your group came up with for the answer to the question that was posed before you. I'm going to ask you to use a piece of magnifying paper. So if you're start at the back of the screen and pull it out about 3 or 4 feet so that everyone in the room can see what it is. I see a woman here. Does everybody see that? I'll be selling this. If you've got a ceiling mounted LCD as we do here, one of the things that I highly encourage you to do is to get some of that rigid foam board and hot glue gun a ruler to it or a yardstick so that even your shortest student can get very tall up into the image to be able to point out the things that they're seeing. If you have an LCD that's down here on the ground, all they have to do is walk a little closer to the image or to the projector and they'll get taller in the image. So I'm going to ask our group that have the who, would you please share with us using the magnifying paper, who do you see? And if you'll point out some of the pieces of evidence that you had to support that.
Okay. So what we saw is we think they're refugees because they took what they could carry. So you can see that they're carrying items. And most of them are women. So we think that they possibly are fleeing a war because the men might have stayed behind to fight.
Okay, hang on, slow down. Tell me your name one more time.
Susan.
Susan, thank you, Susan. These are excellent things that you're saying. Susan is making a lot of inferences, is she not? What does it mean, Hannah? What does it mean to infer? Would you look over here on our word wall?
Sure. It's a good guess or to read between the lines.
And that is exactly what Susan is doing. She's reading between the lines, right? Now, I've asked her to tell us what do you see or who do you see. So let's scale it down just a little bit. Who do you see in this image?
Women with children.
Ah, okay. And can you tell that that's a child?
Well, it's a very smallish person.
Thank you. I think that's a strong argument that it's a child based on the size. But we don't actually see that, all right? It could be a sack of potatoes. We don't know.
No. Well, she's fine by the
By the bottom. Okay. So again, now let me just do a little quick teacher timeout. Why would I ask my students to do this? I want to teach the detail. I want to help make the thinking more visible in the classroom. Because Susan is doing some very high-level thinking. And that's great, and I want to support that. But I've got little Steve and little Susie over here that haven't quite gotten that far yet. And so I've got to make sure that I'm scaffolding that up for them. And again, helping make a distinction between an inference and an actual description is an important thing to do. Tell me your name again.
Bridget,
Bridget, would you mind, what does it mean to describe?
tell about and tell all about.
All right, so what I'm asking you to do now is to describe. And it's important because we also want to push on to the higher level thinking of inferences as well, but I need to bring as many people along with me as I can. So thank you very much. Tell me your name.
Christina.
Christina. What else? Who else do you see in this image?
Well, the only other thing that we had was that they're distressed because of the looks on their face. So they're not smiling and they're kind of looking down.
Okay, all right.
Distressed women.
Thank you. And someone, you mentioned earlier that they're carrying a lot of things. And so here's what I would do with my students. Everyone at the table, what's one other inference? What inference can you make based on the evidence that we've seen so far? And again, refresh your memory, Hannah, what does it mean to infer?
A good guess or to read between the lines.
I want everyone else at the table to make one inference. What else could you infer about this group of people that has not already been said? Turn and discuss with your table mates. Go, please.